Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call our council meeting to order, December 16th tonight, and this will be our last meeting this year, right? And the next meeting will be in 2026. Could I have a mover and a seconder to call the meeting to order?
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Clark, that this meeting be opened at 7 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Next, could I have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda?
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 16th day of December 2025 be adopted as prepared.
All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof? Having none, we'll proceed. And next we have I didn't skip one, Harry.
No, oh, yes, nope,
No, we're
Nope.
good.
going to the adoption of the minutes.
Yeah. Okay, and we've done that already.
No,
Nope.
that's the next one.
Yeah, okay. I'm over in a seconder. I checked it off too quickly. We did it. Could I? Okay.
Okay. Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 25th, 2025 be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? Carried. We have presentations and delegations next. Before that, I kind of looked at the agenda and I didn't know where I would speak to this. So I think before we get into the meeting, I would like to get this out of the way. And I would like to address the issues that happened last week at Castle Home. And I'd like to explain what the meeting was about. I didn't get into the meeting till almost 3 o'clock because I was working. I had to leave early. Then I had to find a parking spot. When I arrived in there, there were people standing outside of the
I
auditorium.
should recuse myself because I have a conflict with Castleton. If you're gonna,
It's not Castle Home we're talking. Oh, well, maybe you.
For safety, I'll jump out.
Yeah, you go.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Jason.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, it is 7:03.
Okay, so when I arrived at the meeting, I was approached, and I should have thought of this for Jason. When I was approached by a member of the board, and there were members outside of the auditorium. And I was approached then by a board member that asked me what I was doing, having secret meetings, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know why the police was there. So then I decided to go in, and I went there by invitation. There are all the mayors of the municipalities that have questions about Castle Arms. There was a presentation put together. It was put together by the mayor of East Ferris as well as the mayor of Chisholm. And it was only to speak to the people from Castle Arms, and which they did. And I thought that they did do a very good presentation to explain to the people the position of the mayors. This has been carried forward from the last council. This is how long it's been ongoing. I have gone to a few meetings. I think the CAO came with me for one, maybe, or two. And the last meeting I missed, and then I was the second last meeting, and then I was at this meeting. I went there with the interest of our municipality. There is a question as to the transfer of the Castle Arms, and I don't know that we will reach any conclusion even this term of council as to whether our municipalities have any interest in Castle Arm whatsoever. However, I feel as long as there's any question as to whether the Township of Montfield has any ownership with Castle Arms, I should be in those meetings. They're not secret meetings. They are meetings to discuss something that has happened 4 years or 5 years ago, however long. So I don't feel that it's up to me to say anything to the police. That wasn't my job. I went there to get information, strictly to get information. And I feel that that's my position. As long as there's something that will affect our township, I believe that there should be a representative there. And that was the purpose of me being at the meeting. Was there any resolution? In the beginning, Castle Arms, the people were questioning the same as I was. It was very amicable, and I didn't answer any questions. I didn't answer any questions because I don't have the answers, and neither does any of the rest of the mayors that are there, except they are there to ask questions, and that's fair. So I imagine there will be more meetings going on. I don't go in secret meetings. I am there for the interest of our municipality, strictly that. And I am there to get information because I am not aware entirely of what happened. And if we have an interest in Castle Arms, I believe that it should be brought out that exactly what's going on with that. So right now, Castle Arms is a private corporation, and we have no say about Castle Arms whatsoever. In the end of the meeting, I spoke with 3 or 4 ladies. They were very happy that that the meeting was called and that we went there. And of course, we went and had some cookies, and it was a very friendly meeting in the end. As far as DSAB, as far as Castleholm, the health unit, we have people from our area representing us, but we don't have members from our township representing us. And with DSAB, I know that it was every 7 years we would get a representative on. We pay into everything. We pay into Castleholm, and we're paying operational, and now we have to pay capital. So my position is, and I trust that the people out there and the people here will trust what I'm saying, is that if we have an interest, I am going to those meetings. Okay? Any questions? Any comments?
About how many residents were in attendance? Was it well attended by the residents? Because it was a closed meeting just for the residents, correct?
Maybe there might have been 15 or 20 residents. And I didn't note that there were any men present. I think there were all ladies there.
That's because we never make it that long.
It turned out in the end very, very good. The people were all friendly and everybody went away. I guess where I became a little bit offended was when I went to go into the meeting, when I was asked about holding secret meetings and that sort of thing. I had no reason for anybody to ask me that because I was just attending the same. I didn't even know if I was supposed to walk past the police. And I walked past them very quietly and nobody stopped me, so I went in the meeting. So that's what happened, and it wasn't a secret meeting. it's still going on, I see from the Bay today, but that's not what it's all about. It's all about, do we have an interest? Does our municipality have a right to owning part of those assets?
And it's good
It's
that
a
you
fair
went
question.
to know, like, it's good that you went, because we need to know too, also.
Yeah, okay?
Yep.
All right,
7:10.
you're gonna tell Jason to come back? Sorry, Jason, I should have
That's
thought
okay,
that.
no worries. Too easy.
All right, so next we're going into presentations and delegations. And I don't see Eric Tennant. Is he attending or?
He was going to.
Hmm?
He was going to, but he's not here. So I
He's not
don't
here.
have an email.
So are we going to have a report on that from the township, or are we?
Well, he submitted a letter in and we did supply an email to council just to say he would like to put in a larger fence on his property. He's not here to explain the details on that. And then we did send an email from our CBO as well.
Perhaps he's changed his mind if he's not here.
Okay. Next we have Jules here. Jules?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you're all aware, you must have received the copies from your engineer and the CEO. Hello, I am here to discuss the engineer report, respond from the Bonnfield Township engineer, Antoine Boucher, and to respond to the email sent 10 months ago on the 4th of February, 2025, that he had received on December the 9th, and the response from the Bonnfield CEO, Nikki, on December 10th, 2025. During the 10 months waiting for the response, I had the time to finish phase 2 of the road, and would I appreciate for council to please wait till I'm done my presentation before speaking, please. Thank you. My proposal from the last meeting on November 25th, the first step and requested from the engineer, Ryco Engineer Limited at Eric Street, that's in front of the senior's home, was not addressed by the Township of Bonnfield and your engineer, Antoine Boucher. From October 2nd, final inspection report on phase 1 and 2, Gagne subdivision, sent by the engineer due to the work was done without the authorization and supervision of Ryco's engineer, stated on their report to the Township of Bonnfield. But seeing that the Township of Bonnfield is always addressing small faults on my part that can be corrected with the extra cost, of course, and no response on the final stage. The only comment was on security hole from me for future work. So, according to Antoine Boucher, your engineer, the funds are there to complete the road work to be done with the security fund that I have provided of the sum of 158,842.11, with a finished grand total that Antoine gave was a total of 153,246.77. But then also mentioned by next year, the cost will go up, of course. I am out of funds, and the Township of Bonnfield have enough funds with my security deposit to complete the road. There is no time frame from the Township of Bonnfield when they will properly do Eric Street and Laurie Street and ditching to blend in with the development. After 30 years of work, my family had received enough delay from the Township of Bonnfield and the Township lawyer and engineer. I am no longer interested of continuing the road. As per the CEO, Nikki, as mentioned, the township has the right to do what they want with the road and give other developer the okay, but not to me. I feel discriminated against by the township, and I no longer have no interest in continue due to many years of delay, costs, and no support from the township. The CEO has mentioned that the Bonfield owns the road, and engineers has confirmed the fund total to complete the road. So I am wiping my hands clean, and I will not continue any more road work, and I have no insurance on my part to cut the costs. The township must have the insurance and guaranteed from other developer to use and build the road. So the township of Bonfield can close or open the road that is registered to the township of Bonfield. I will be looking and checking that the work that has been done on the road when the township withdraw the fund, and I will not be responsible for any extra cost due to all the delays. This has cost me and my family $30,000 per year to hold the guarantee fund. Please, the community of Bonfield, listen. Please do not do the math. It's a lot for a small community man like myself. I feel that I have done my part to improve Bonfield's future, but when you don't have the township and the community support and all the delays and costs, my family and I are discouraged and fed up. And I'm still looking for the engineer portion of the DESCON, what's going to be happening with that. And that's it. So
Thank you,
you guys
Joel.
have the funds, you can do what you want. I'm out of it.
Thank you for your presentation. I have to say that is certainly disheartening. I don't know what to say about. I'll ask council what they have to say or what they think. I had hoped that we could work something out, and that is a total loss to our community. And at this point, I don't know what to say. Anyone else?
Well, I mean, I guess of course, it's a loss for our community that you've decided not to move forward. That's unfortunate. Your 30 years of trials and tribulations. It's unfortunate that it's going to come to this. From my seat, obviously, waiting for the final sign off from our legal and our engineer, who we pay as our experts, is the place that we were in. And we did not have that yet. So I was not comfortable to move forward with releasing funds. But I respect your decision. So.
But you do have the fund to continue and finish the road, according to your engineer. So it's up to the municipality what they're going to do. You have all the funds, you have control. Your engineer stated all the funds that you guys need, so you guys can carry on the work. Because of the delay, I don't know when you guys are going to be doing Eric Street to merge with the development. I don't know when you're going to do Laurie Street. Well, I've been waiting for 10, 15 years for you guys to do the ditching and upset the road. When I built Eric Street in 1986, it was all done properly. And the council gave me an extra year or two to pave it, and I did. I honored that agreement. Now, I know all the work from the township and the public work. They destroyed that section. So, but you have the fund to do. The fund is there. If I do not do the job, the township's got the funds there to do the job. So I paid my bills.
Can I ask, it would be helpful to get a report from CAO and our legal counsel to determine next steps, whether that road, we just return money and walk away from the subdivision or whatever the next steps and options would be from the township's perspective.
Yeah, I can prepare a report.
Thank you.
She has repaired,
She will prepare one for us.
she will prepare
Yeah.
one. Okay. Jules, we will get a report from the CAO and Public Works as well.
Sure, I believe I'll connect with the engineer and our legal team. We've been talking on this. We were waiting, from this letter, we were waiting for the response from Mr. Money. So we will go back and look to see what our next steps are and our next options.
Okay,
I would like, we would need it to be officially in writing that they're not going to continue with the road. They're not going to continue, so I'll reach out to the subdivision team as well.
okay. Okay, Jules, you'll receive a report from the township. And do you have a letter of your report to give to us?
Yes, I can email it, or I can give them this copy of it.
Okay,
And if you have read this, your on engineer's report that he has sent on December the 9th, I don't know if any of your council ever read.
Mhm.
So we read it.
The cost is there, and it clears me from the rest of the cost. And I spoke to my lawyer, and he feels the same way.
good.
So I won't be expecting any cost from the municipality or anything else, or I'll be looking forward at a higher court because
Thank you, Jules.
they've been delayed.
Next, we have the remuneration of council bylaw 2025. Oh, wait, sorry. Do we have a mover and a seconder?
No, this is just to see if there's anybody present that
Oh,
wanted to discuss
okay.
it, or if the CAO had received any comments.
Okay, this is for comments on the remuneration for the council.
Can I
Okay.
say a word on that?
Sure.
On the remuneration of council, I know, probably council many years ago, it wasn't that high. But I think every taxpayers in this township are questioning their tax, how much tax they're paying. They're paying so much tax. And if the council is going to give a remuneration increase, it's gonna raise our tax again. That's $100,000 in 3 years for council members. And I feel if people wants to run for mayor or council at next meeting, they should accept the wages that are there now without having an increase. So I would suggest that you would freeze the remuneration for 4 years, so help the taxpayers. Because we're paying enough tax in this township, so if the council takes the remuneration up, so that means that the employees are looking for a raise, and then the road department, everybody's looking for a raise after. And I don't think our tax can assume that. Whatever you
No,
buy.
but Jules, our remuneration was frozen. The remuneration I'm receiving now is the remuneration that I received when I first started. So the purpose of the increase is for the next council.
Yes,
not
I am aware of that.
Not for us. And I don't know if you were the next mayor, would you think it was fair here that we froze the next council's remuneration. And this is, from what I understand, when I first read it, I thought, no, I'm fine where I am. And then when I read it properly, I saw that it's for the next council. It's not for this council. And I thought, well, I guess that's fair because the last council must have determined what we received, right? Is that?
No, it was only for, well, it was for that term of council,
So-
not for the new term of council.
Okay, so when we came in, we had the same money that the last council had. We've done our 4 years with no increase from the last council. And when we finish this term, we're right where we started 4 years ago, the same remuneration as the last council.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
And I understand and I can appreciate that there's a concern for the taxes, that's for sure. We all live here and we don't like to see an increase. I think last year wasn't too bad. The first year when we came in, there was a high increase. Last year wasn't too bad. I'm hoping that it's probably similar this year. And that's what the remuneration is for. It's for the next council.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you say is because every time you ask for more money, we're coming into your pocket to get it, right? So I appreciate that and I thank you for giving me the chance to say what I think about it.
The thing of it is too, if you leave it another term of council, at some point, they're gonna have to catch up and then they're gonna have to say, we need 10%. At some point, council has to stay in check with every other municipality.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but the municipality hasn't increased that much in the population or tax base to come up for that kind of money for a council to have that kind of money for, it's almost as much as a retirement.
So
person.
what you think we're asking for, Jules, is too much of an increase?
Yeah.
Keep in mind now, that's 8 years of an increase. That's 8 years without an increase, right? Because the last council had that for 4 years. We picked up on theirs. We didn't ask for any money. And we've been here for, it'll be 4 years before that'll be increased. So you think that
So that'd
we're
be 12
asking
years.
too much?
That'd be 12 years that nothing has moved.
Yes, but I do understand that too. But I feel when the council or mayor runs for the position, are they really there for the money or to help the community?
Do you think-
I know.
The hours we put in
Yeah.
for that kind of money?
I'll just say, I can guarantee
But
you.
anyway, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say, I just said my words, but I'm just saying, because of the township, we're still deeply in the red for the dollars. And our taxes are still going up every year.
Mhm.
So that's why I would really
Yeah.
consider watching the cost, because you're still buying equipment, you're still getting this, and our taxes are going up very highly for this community.
Well, can I just say, I'm happy to hear you talk about equipment. I'm sure you watched the last council meeting or the corporate services meeting where the full breakdown on the return on investment of that equipment showed that it was actually a very smart investment on behalf of taxpayers. That's where we're being very responsible, and not only responsible, we're transparent with how that equipment is benefiting, where the roads are being improved, how many culverts, all of the hours that's. So that aside, I will bring it back to the remuneration, but I appreciate the fact that obviously you watched that, and I'm sure as a businessman, you would agree and understand that that was a fantastic investment on behalf of the taxpayers. On the remuneration, I am fortunate enough that I have a job Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. So most of the time, 95% of the time, my work at council is after what I would consider as my career. Not everybody's in that same boat. Lots of people have hours that are evening shifts and night shifts and weekend shifts. So if we want to be open to the idea of having a great diverse council that would represent a wide range of people in our community, it can't cost people money, and I know that already it is, that they're gonna come to a council meeting and make less money in the evening to try and do council meetings than they could make to support their family as well. I'm not saying that this is a career for anybody. Nobody does this as a career, or the pay is $11,000 for a council member. Nobody's doing that to feed their family and make it their full-time job. But there is a number of avenues that we have to think to make sure that we're not just making it for the elite that can afford to sit on council with very low pay. Then I think we're actually doing a disservice to those that should be running and be diverse in the community.
So, but anyway, down the line, it's, I don't know what percentage you base yourself on, but it looked like it.
I think I make per year around 14,000. And I don't know if that includes my remuneration from a conference or maybe from the police services board. I'm not sure, but I think it's around 14,000.
It's $14,287. That is what your remuneration is for mayor.
So, but Joel, it's fine that you say what you think. You're saying it to
Yeah, I
us,
appreciate it.
and that's good. You've given us a chance to explain what is, and I thank you for that.
It's just because of what I'm looking at, I just saying like paying, it's 14 this year, but in 2 years from now, we're up at 18,000 and more.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it's just asking if council would look at the percentage.
Yeah, for sure.
and
I
easy
think
up
we
on
are
the
going
taxpayer.
to.
Yeah, I think, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's council having more discussion tonight after public consultation. So, I know I have a position that I'm going to bring forward. I don't know if anybody else does. So.
Okay, thank you. Now, so there are no more further public presentations, so I'll close the meeting.
Any comments from?
I did not receive any comments.
Hmm?
I did not receive any comments.
Okay. So do you need a motion?
No.
No? Okay. So next we have question period, nothing,
There were no questions.
and staff reports. We will have a report from Alex with respect to the recycling options.
Thank you. So the province has recently announced their final decision regarding the recycling materials of industrial, commercial, and institutions, which is what we call ICI materials. Despite municipal efforts, the material will not be eligible for collection under the producer responsibility system through circular materials. At the October meeting, it was decided that consultation with the affected businesses would be prudent. The survey was geared towards gathering information about how they currently use the landfill site for recycling and what they would consider the best option for council to consider. The survey was emailed to approximately 30 businesses with 8 responses. The survey results are summarized below. Please note that some respondents skipped some questions. So the responses indicated 6 out of 8 businesses use the landfill site currently. 3 out of 7 are willing to consider a third-party vendor. 4 said absolutely not. 2 out of 5 visit the landfill weekly, and 3 attend monthly with their waste. 7 out of 8 bring less than 5 bags of recycling, and 1 brings approximately 5 to 9 bags. 2 out of 8 said they would be willing to pay $100 or less per month. The remaining feel the cost should be covered by their taxes. Most are satisfied with the current level of service, but would like more bags, currently double the residential, and no gate fee for special trips to the landfill. To conclude the survey with fair assumption, it is that 50% of businesses attend the landfill site weekly and 50% monthly, with 90% bringing 5 bags and 20% bringing 9 bags. So options for consideration. Currently, the township has been offered 3 separate options with the newly introduced change order agreement from Circular Materials starting January 1st, 2026 and lasting until December 31st, 2028. So these options, the town receives the contributions from Circular Material for collecting or education purposes. This would reduce revenues by approximately approximately $900 a month for recycling. So the three options we have are: one, blend ICI with residential; two, segregate ICI as a standalone bin at the cost; and three, terminate collection of ICI recycling, so no longer accept it. So with option one being blended, the township has been given the option to blend household materials with ICI materials in the existing bins located at the municipal landfill site. With this option, the number of eligible sources relying on the depot as their only source of blue box material collection is multiplied by 81 kilograms to yield the annual quality per single family dwelling. Currently, we have 1,145 eligible households within the municipality using the landfill site. If we do the math on that number and multiply it by 81 kilograms, it gives us 92,745 kilograms. This is the annual threshold of waste. If we do an analysis on the information we have from 2025, so January to November, the township has produced a total of 97,510 kilograms of recycling material. This is already 4,765 kilograms over the allotted threshold, with the month of December still outstanding. If the municipality does not exceed this threshold of 92,745 kilograms, if the municipality does exceed this threshold of 92,745 kilograms, GFL will no longer pick up any of our recycling materials. So once that threshold's hit, they will no longer attend the landfill site to pick up any of our recycling. It's important to note that the introduction of new waste management practices like clear bag and sorting relations have significantly increased the recycling numbers, which is adding life to the landfill portion. The township is recycling more than the average household in Ontario based on these numbers. So option two being to segregate. With the option to segregate ICI materials, the township would have to rent an additional bin from a contractor and pay a tipping fee for each time it is picked up and disposed of. Currently, we have received one quote from a contractor for an additional bin. The bin is being offered as a 5-year contract with annual costs totaling $17,912 for the bin rental and an additional $10,500 for processing fees. This gives us a total cost of $28,411.92 for the estimated additional bin in the year 2026. This is an exponential cost for the this is an exponential cost to incur for a mandated program that was designated to save money for the municipality. For example, the contractor fees for the entire recycling program, pre-producer responsibility legislation in 2023 was $41,344, and in 2024 was $49,958. This was based on the rental of 6 bins and weekly pickup as well. Now the cost of one bin to segregate ICI waste is 62% of the average cost of the former entire recycling program for the township. Based on the survey results, of which only 8 businesses replied, it is estimated one bin pickup a week will be enough to suffice the needs of the ICI materials. Most respondents were not in favor of paying an additional cost for this service, believing the landfill is already covered through their taxes. However, it is evident that this new legislation and the cost is increasing, and council will need to consider options to balance any tax increase with cost recovery measures. At a time when council is prompting economic development and trying to retain and attract new opportunities, at the Corporate Services Committee, it was mentioned that council could waive any fees for 2026 to better understand the true cost, and in 2027 could then implement a monthly service fee for accepting ICI recycling. Should council consider the segregation option, it is worth noting that there are no limits on recycling materials that circular materials will collect for households, as it is the blended option. Option 3, to be to terminate. So with option 3 being to terminate the overall collection of ICI recycling from businesses, the onus would then be on the business owners to coordinate their own pickup and bin rentals for recycling materials moving forward. The new rules do not allow ICI recycling to be mixed with residential recycling at the landfill site. Council can choose not to accept recycling from any ICI property, thus meaning each business would have to arrange for their own bin and collection through a third-party vendor. From the survey, 2 respondents said that they already do this, and 3 indicated that they would consider, but more said they would not consider this option. So in conclusion, with the above calculations regarding recycling weights within the municipality, it is apparent that option 1 to blend recycling, being residential and ICI materials, is not a viable option moving forward, as we will be over the allotted threshold total. As stated earlier, if we are over this threshold, GFL will cease all pickup of our recycling materials, and the township will have to hire a third-party contractor regardless. This then leaves option 2 to segregate or option 3 to terminate. Considering the choice of option 2, the cost that will be incurred not only to the municipality but to the taxpayers that are not identified under the ICI designation would be exponential. It is believed to be unfair for the rest of the community to absorb these fees. Not all residents are business owners. If option 2 is a choice by council, it is recommended that a fee of $100 monthly be associated with the disposal of recycling materials for businesses with a 1-year grace period. With approximately 14 main public-facing businesses within the township, splitting the cost, it would equal $16,800, with the township paying an additional $11,611.92 for the total bin, dump, and rental fee of $28,411.92. The ICI includes the medical center, school, community center, and municipal office. This option doesn't place thresholds or limits on recycling blue box materials either. And option 3, being to terminate, would force these business owners to coordinate their own bin rentals and pickup schedule with the contractor of their choice. With this option, taxpayers would not be responsible for any additional costs from ICI materials. The municipality would in fact have to rent their own bin for disposal as well, since we fall under the ICI category.
Well, I would like to say this to start with. The recycling is working.
Yeah.
That's what we asked for. We have more recycling. Now we have to say, no.
Yeah, you doubled recycling. Good job.
Yeah,
That's what we asked for.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll leave the floor open to everybody else at that one.
yeah. I mean, I can say the logic eludes me about this entire program. We're encouraged to and have done a better job, and our constituents and the people of the township have done a fantastic job recycling more. We've seen the numbers grow exponentially over the last several years. Now the province is putting in a program that'll actually punish the municipality for our ratepayers doing a great job of protecting the landfill and the environment. So it's counterintuitive to me if what they're trying to do is somehow reduce the amount of garbage that is going into the landfill and or recycling. It eludes me because I think people are just going to do all kinds of crazy things now. When I've done the research, when I look at other municipalities, because every municipality in Ontario is facing this exact same thing. This is driven by the province. Option 3, which is to terminate all, seems to be the vast majority of municipalities that I can find. That is the option that they've embarked on, which is to just say, okay, the municipality is out of collecting recycling for businesses. You're on your own, grab a bin, do whatever you're going to do with your recycling, but it's not us. See the point in the to Alex's presentation and their meeting that we had previously about this. We are trying to encourage business in our municipality. So passing on this straight expense to our businesses is counterintuitive to trying to actually be attractive to businesses to either stay. So business retention and expansion. Business retention, hard to keep people here. Business expansion, we're handcuffing them by adding them another expense. And business expand, like trying to add more businesses to the township, it would just become less attractive to be able to do that. So I think that we have to come up with a balance of, if it's option 3 and we're going to terminate, fair enough. Maybe it is that we are going to look to pass on that cost, but pause for a year so we can get better data. I'm open to that. We can look at what does that impact our commercial businesses, and can we adjust our commercial tax ratio to help offset some of that from a municipal perspective. So, yes, there's going to be additional costs because the province has forced this upon them. Perhaps we can look at the business ratio and what does that look like if we go if we lower our ratio a bit and collect less taxes. So give businesses a bit of a break on the taxes on that side. I know, Your Worship, I believe you have another, you and I had a conversation. I think you had to, we're all been thinking about how to get this, to not be a bad news story for our businesses, but
Well, one of the things I thought of, and I was talking to Jason about it, and I said, our municipality, we have to have bins for our recycling from our township office, from the public works, the medical center, the library, fire department. We have to have a bin. Is there any way that we could share the bin with the businesses by giving the businesses each a card with so many done, or so many visits to the landfill site? And is that where we would find out what businesses would be using it more than others? And then if that was the case, then they would have to pay for an additional card. Is there any way that we could look at that? That's one of the things I thought of. The businesses here in our municipality do not have the population, do not have the people, and they try to stay open here. And I don't know if they're going to have to pay for a bin, it's $1,400 a month, something like that. You take $1,400 out of each business, or a small business, it's not little money.
So just on that note, so option 2 under segregation is kind of what you said, put into motion. That would be the bin at the landfill that the municipality as well as the business owners would share. But that, like I stated in the report, if we just use the cost of $100, say, a month, right, to use that bin, because I believe the CAO had a survey that went out and that was kind of the number floating around. The overall bin cost is still $28,000 and change, right? So that's just to offset that, the municipality is still paying an additional $10,500 for the bin, right? So that would kind of be what the option you were just speaking of, right?
Would be kind of the same
down.
thing, eh?
Yeah.
But would the businesses have a card to use that as well?
Yeah, they'd have to. That would be our
Right.
thing, because it would be totally separate from any residential recycling. But I do know from talking to a couple business owners that when they get bins at their business location, the cost is way cheaper depending on how often they get it dumped or how much waste they use, right? So they essentially can get like a tote bin instead of like a 40-yard dump bin, and go that route. I'm not saying it's getting cheap. I'm just saying it's a lot cheaper than a $1,500 a month fee, right?
Mhm.
So
I mean, how many businesses do we have that you said that we had?
14.
So half replied to the survey.
We have 14 businesses. Is that,
That would be
That would
eligible.
regularly use the landfill site with the recycling. So we have some that are home-based.
but
So we sent the survey to those that were in home-based, that would produce a lot of the recycling material.
is that an impact number? Like
Mm,
where are they getting their number from?
who they being,
Circular
The
material.
circular material. What
I
are
took
we?
an average of Ontario for that 81.
Oh, Ontario.
Yeah.
No, but don't they go off your impact, what's residential and what's commercial?
So our
Or industrial?
assessment has a 3% assessment that's commercial. That's all that they have, but that's like on the assessment component that they have the 3%. And then number of households are
Yep.
different.
The households don't matter in this scenario.
Right.
It's just the industrial or commercial,
Yeah.
and they're saying 3%.
yeah, that's what they said.
They'd have to be zoned to that, but actively,
Yeah, you only
Yeah.
get,
they're zoned commercial and have an active business
An
on
active,
it.
yeah.
right, so those
Like
are the
quick
only
white
ones that
steps and
Right.
are gonna be
dinner.
penalized in this, is the ones that are zoned commercial.
Correct.
or
So the additional recycling right now, that's coming from the residential because the commercial is using,
So like I can't give you an accurate reading or number
Because we don't
to
separate.
split up
Yeah.
like residential versus, because currently right now we accept everything, whether it be a business or residential, it all goes into the same bin, right? So now they're saying that we have to split those two. So just business here, and what we currently have is just for the residents.
And how much time, like the staff's time to try and figure out commercial, and
So,
go open that
Yeah,
up.
essentially the only like Mayor Paquette spoke to, right? Like having a separate card to come in, say it's a different color, says business, right? Then they know that's your bin. I'm sure there'll be some hiccups if we went that route, kind of corralling everybody to the proper space and getting it sorted out. There's definitely going to be some kinks.
But we would get a better idea of who's using what and how many bags, because what's happening in this scenario is the smaller business are then subsidizing the larger businesses if the fee is the
But the
same.
smaller businesses, they're home-based, they're not even on this radar.
No.
Yeah,
But
and
what,
that's-
so whatever but it's like you say, so the smaller commercial businesses that are zoned commercial that don't produce a lot are paying the same as the person who has tons of cardboard and, right, same commercial.
That's why, that's why they should be looking to, like a Canor or Miller or to get your own bin, because it's a nominal
Yeah,
cost.
It's
Yeah.
a lot smaller.
It's a lot smaller cost to them
Right,
that way.
right.
Because
I
like
mean-
say just the dinner bell, for example, right? They'd use a lot more, I'm guessing, right? They'd use a lot more recycling than a small home-based business, right?
But if the home-based business isn't commercial, it's not counted.
It's not
We're
counted.
not-
Correct,
We're
yeah,
not counted.
but-
Okay, so we're only talking about
Like
industrial or
places that use
commercial.
big cardboard, like the liquor store, they
Yeah.
probably get tons of cardboard,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So.
Right. So if we go with option 3 and give them some time to figure it out. So are we behind the 8 ball in timing here?
Yes.
Can we go to, we'll give them 6 months?
We have till January 1st.
Yes, so you can't,
So this is, so, and just to speak on that, I'm not, trying to make up an excuse here, but we've had multiple meetings with Circular Materials, and for the last 6 months, they couldn't provide us with a threshold number. They just recently gave us a threshold number, being that 81 kilograms per household, to do our math on, because myself and the CAO didn't think it was proper to present a report without providing the threshold on making a decision.
Yeah,
What-
for sure.
And what have other communities done?
So the few communities I've reached out to, a couple of them are blending, because they have barely any recycling, but most of them are going with option 3 to terminate and making these businesses get their own bins. If not, most of these businesses already do, like say in North Bay, right? You have a
Yeah.
bunch of industrial businesses, they've all got their own bins. It's just,
So we can't do option 3, but give them a grace period to July.
no, Circular Materials said that as of January 1st, 2026, those two materials, so residential and ICI,
Cannot.
have to be.
and that's the only number they've ever come out with that's been consistent. Like, it's been a horrible process, but that number's always been consistent, that January 1st, 2026, it is.
it's sure doing a big flip-flop as far as I'm concerned, because when this first came about, I was very happy to hear, okay, they're going to take over the recycling and we encourage people to recycle. Now people are going to say, hey, what do you guys want me to do? To recycle or not?
The thing of it is, the producer is supposed to cover the cost. So what does it matter if it's a commercial business or not? The producer of that product should still be covering the
But yeah,
recycling
Yeah.
cost.
Essentially,
right.
they've reversed the onus back onto the business.
Yeah.
Right,
Because the
which is not
residents aren't
fair.
affected at all.
so, right, so the business then has to put pressure on the producer to say, hey, look, send me this widget in a package
Yeah,
that this
if
big,
they're
not this
retail,
big,
yeah.
right? It's that kind of piece. Like,
Well, and they're
That-
counting us as a producer as well,
Right.
so we're a producer too.
The school, I
yeah,
mean, the school's not, they're not exempt. They have
No,
to get
no,
their own
but so they
bid.
would have to get their own
They have to
bin,
get their own
and then
bin.
we would cover Public Works, the medical center, the fire department.
So out of the 3%, we probably make up 1.5.
Right.
And that's where, like, when we did the breakdown, right, about the $100 fee, like, it's almost 50% of the cost that the municipality would still have to pay.
So if we're, sorry, Thomas, so if we're 28 grand a year and we figure we could get half back as a business user fee, if you will, and the other half is roughly our fees, 14 grand a year is still a lot less than $2 or $3 million to close the landfill and open another landfill.
absolutely.
So,
But that's still, but no, it's not going to our landfill though.
well, it was before we were recycling at the amount that we.
Yeah, it's why,
Yeah, but we have
because we've
people-
done,
We got
Such
people
a
there
good
to
job.
watch it.
yeah, we've done a great job recycling, and
It
which
doesn't-
takes the blending option off the table because we exceed the kilograms that is
No,
allowable.
that's the first,
That's the
No, that's
blend.
No, so that's,
yeah, the
that's
segregated is what we want.
Right, so
Right.
blending doesn't make sense
No.
for our municipality because then we're discouraging to recycle as much as we're
And we're
recycling.
not gonna let them, it's not like we're gonna turn a blind eye and let them come in and throw the recycling. I mean, we'll still, you can't.
Of course, then it's shortening the life cycle of
Of our
the
landfill.
landfill, which
So-
is a terrible idea.
So can we do the segregating for a year, review it, and then?
How do you get out of that though?
So the
No.
only issue is
Oh, It's 5 years.
the current contractor wants a 5-year deal.
Can we get another contractor?
I've reached out to 3 other contractors and I've only got a reply from 1. So, and the other contractor I've been trying to get a hold of is currently GFL, who does our landfill, and I've had no luck.
Is that through the province, the contractor?
Yes, yeah, it's through Circular Materials, so it's the provincially mandated contractor, yeah.
So when they take the recyclables, when we had the recyclables and we sent the bins away, we paid so much for the rental of the bins. But we did realize money after, right? We still had money come in. So now they're taking all the recycling to a certain degree and then they say, whoa, we can only take so much. And during this time, we've encouraged the township, we've encouraged the people to recycle. And now we're back. So whatever we decide to do at this point, I think it should be something that we put in place and stay with. Because I know that if I was just out there trying to figure out, what am I putting in here? Am I recycling or should I not be? I think what we decide now, it's something we should stick with.
So
Yeah, it's
just,
only for the businesses though that have to make that like
Yeah,
decision.
but just to speak to that, like, these choices or options that are laid out on here, like, the options are the choices that are available. It's not like, the municipality sat back and said, we no longer want to take commercial recycling, right?
Right.
It's not the municipality,
No.
it's coming
No,
from the.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's coming
provincial
from the government. They're
So-
putting these 3 options on us essentially. That's it.
So we could do the segregating with the $100 fee and see if that is working, and if it's more, and we need more bins, we could, proportion the fee based on usage.
But then that drives our cost up another 10, 12
Or
thousand
not,
dollars.
or not, right?
Or it
So-
does.
But we
You
don't know.
But okay, but once you go down this rabbit hole, you're not backing out of it.
I know it's 5 years, right?
So
This is hard.
Can I just give a comment?
Why not?
Scott has said it's okay.
Sorry, Mayor.
If the business getting their own bin and they go sell their own recycling, that should be covering their cost for their own bin. They would take care of their own recycling and get the revenue for their recycling.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be more simple to leave every business? Is that?
Yeah, so there is a couple groups that we've spoken to, that are looking forward or in the future to collecting recycling and being free for everybody. And then they sell it for a fee or break it down or what have you, but nothing that I know of has been put in place yet. It's just all thoughts and theories at this point, so.
I know before we got forced into circular materials, We had a local contractor out of North Bay. They were taking all of our recycling and
Yeah, it was the same here, but it didn't cover the cost of our rentals.
No, for the
We-
bin rentals, no.
But it
for
it
us,
offset it a bit.
for us, they supplied the bin and they charged us, just to pick up. They didn't charge us for the material, like for dumping, they charged us for the pickup, but that's it. That was our only cost.
Dan,
They-
are you speaking about the municipality where you work?
Yeah, before circular materials came in,
Mm-hmm.
like we had, there's a company in North Bay that would come in and they would give us the bins without not charging rental. And they would only charge us for pickup and dumping off the bin, but they got to keep all the materials.
And which option did you choose?
Oh, we didn't even give them, like, we just,
Option 3.
option 3.
Okay.
Because they are charging an additional $125 a ton on the recycling materials for processing. So if you break it down, it's just under, like before tax, I think it's $344 a week that we'd be paying for the bin rental. And that's one dump a week.
So-
Sorry,
Yeah.
one dump a week.
So just to scope it, so obviously we're gonna talk about either segregating and it's gonna be out of that $28,000, how much are we recouping, if at all, and passing that on? And that's a conversation. Or if we're gonna look to not collect ICI, recycling, so terminate, the future decision of this council can be, so we've terminated, if it's negatively impacting our businesses. So it's great if a group comes along and it's, ends up being revenue neutral because they're gonna get paid for the recycling, then great. But if it's gonna negatively impact our businesses, well then, the conversation back to, do we look at what our commercial tax ratio is to be able to support businesses?
But
So
can
the
we,
only other issue is the contract with circular materials goes till 2028. So I'm not sure if we're
You can
allowed
jump
to
in
switch
a year
partway
down the
through.
road.
This is the other, like,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the agreement, if I can, the agreement with circular material is just an amendment to say, to acknowledge, and the bylaws on the agenda for later today, but that is just to acknowledge that they will not be collecting the ICI.
Mhm.
So, and that is their agreement till 2028. So that's the change order in it, is that effective January 1st, there is no ICI in their collection. So I don't
can't
don't
confirm.
think that circular material cares which option is chosen,
but I
as
don't,
long as because they are not responsible for it. So they need to make sure that the municipality is made a decision on how you will be responsible for it. Or not.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think a year down the road, we can say we want to jump in there and get a bin.
I think you could segregate, but you couldn't blend
I don't know.
because it's not the same contractor. Like their contractor will not come and get the segregated
Right.
ICI.
You will have to get another contractor.
Yes.
but
Right. As far as GFL is concerned, that they know that the ICI is not in there. So what you do with it after, whether you collect it separately or you ask businesses to do it all on their own, from their perspective, I guess it really doesn't matter. I'll just put it out there. I think we're better off to actually just go with option 3 and continue to work with businesses and figure out if there's anything we can do with the tax ratio, and if we need to, maybe it ends up being revenue neutral. Because, they start getting paid for their recycling as well. And if it's revenue neutral, then that's great. But if it's not, then obviously we want to make sure that we continue to be competitive with our tax ratio in Bonnfield compared to other municipalities, which, if I'm going to be honest, we are already a bit high. So there's probably some room there that we can work with the businesses to say, we don't want to negatively impact you more due to an increased cost. Not that we did, the province has, and yet somehow we're going to be left trying to figure out if we can pick up any slack here. So
Yeah, I'd have to know those numbers because, it's tough to give a break to some, tax break when everybody's, hurting on taxes to a business that is making money.
yeah, for sure. I think if you had,
Can I ask a question? with that proposal?
Can we make up an answer if we don't know it? Because I think that's what most people have done with this thing, according to, never mind, that was a shot at circular material, that's
Okay.
not nice.
So if we do number 3
Yeah,
and we change the tax ratio for the commercial, in the end, doesn't it go back to the residential?
yes, or, yes, we either as a municipality have to look for cost savings within the municipality, which is a reduction of service, or it's we are cutting somewhere, which has a negative impact on the municipality, or we have to pass it on to the residential taxpayers. Either way, the $14,000 that's gonna be left over after we collect $100 is gonna be the residential taxpayers paying for it already, right?
And
So
personally, I don't think the residential taxes should be paying for business tax.
I completely agree with you.
So,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But either way, we're looking at a bill of $28,000 or $14,000 if we split it with businesses and we collect $100 or whatever that ends up being.
10.5, yeah.
Yeah, ultimately, it's all the same principle from how much money is coming out of a business pocket. It's how do we do it? Do we collect money from them and we go through that process, or do we reduce our tax rate at to that same $14,000 overall as a municipality, right? So ultimately, we're subsidizing $14,000. Doesn't matter how you cut it. We would be in option 2,
Or you don't.
or you don't.
yeah, I was gonna-
Or you don't. And that's what I'm saying. Like, then at least if we just say we're gonna go with number 3 and businesses are on their own, it at least gives options in the future to have conversations with businesses and truly understand as elected officials, like, you know, setting future tax rates and ratios. That's what we get paid for. We can't delegate that job as much as we would like to, eh? That's what we get paid the big bucks for. Yeah.
This is a very hard one.
Yeah.
This is so hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just, and I know there's a no-win on any decision that we make on this, and we've been battling with this as staff, and we've been having debates with circular material on how do you move forward and how is this actually going to help us continue with the high recycling rates that we're getting province-wide. It just discourages recycling, especially with the blended number, because you can see that we're being punished on that. And I do understand that we don't want anything on the residential side, and yes, we can look if you decide with number 3 to terminate, we can look at when we move into the budget deliberations on what we can do with budget. We've also seen some revenues on the waste side of the landfill site. Now, you don't really want to take away from the waste side because we need the landfill site to be maintained for as many years as possible, but we have seen significant increases on that as well.
yeah, but going back, those increases they should be being put away to close the landfill, which is gonna be millions of dollars.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
we're back to it's a no-win.
right.
Right. I'm not
Could-
helpful. I'm
Could
just
we
trying
have
to-
opted out of that? Could
No.
we have opted out of the profit?
You could have opted out, but January 1st, they put you right back in.
Yeah. Yeah, make no mistake, this is being forced.
Yeah.
And it's being ultimately forced upon our businesses. That's
Yes.
like it.
And I just don't understand why, like, again, the producer's supposed to cover the cost. The business is not the producer.
No.
And municipalities across Ontario, we've all sent in the resolutions. There have been many delegations at Roma and Ontario, our Good Roads. So many municipalities have fought against this decision, but to no avail. Like the final decision came back in October and they just said, no, we're not accepting them, period. We're not changing our mind.
It's been they've been a hard no on everything that anybody has wanted to change. It's a hard no. They don't even really listen to you.
So the only way, when we're looking at this, the only way the businesses can take care of their recycling is by paying for, other than the options here, other than that, they have to have their own bid. And then where would it go? But the company that brings the
That's up to- Yeah,
bin?
that's up to the contractor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And then there's a possibility they could get money back on their recyclables.
There could be.
or they, get creative and do other things with their recyclable, right? So,
That's exactly right. Which
like,
Yeah.
is less than ideal.
no.
there's easy way to get rid of cardboard.
Well, we don't want to see more go into the landfill site.
No,
No,
There's other ways.
From the fire chief.
one really big annual fire training drill for our
Yeah.
fire department.
They're hazard and stockpiling
So I think
cardboard.
option
I don't know.
So we're buying a sea can, loading it full of.
Yeah.
Well, let's go around the table. Donna, you start.
I think option 3.
2,
I agree with option 3 with the caveat that whether it's this council or future councils, hopefully continue to work with businesses to, with any support that's needed, so.
so you're going to say go with option 3?
Uh-huh.
And because that we, as of January 1st, we have to make a decision. So you're saying go with option 3 and see what we can work out with the businesses?
Yeah, and or maybe, all of a sudden it becomes revenue neutral for a business because they're selling it and we're sitting here worried about, well, maybe we don't need to be on behalf of our businesses.
and maybe a few businesses can join together on one bid.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So,
Yes.
Oh, okay. But that's something that maybe after we could have a meeting with the businesses or to
So
look at it?
just on that note, I did speak to a few business owners, about having a meeting. A couple of them said that, they're busy working during most of the time, so they were highly unlikely they'd go. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I think it would be good. But that being said, I mean, I think the CAO essentially tried that with a survey, which we only had
Yeah.
50% participation, right? So.
if life becomes real and they're spending $1,500 a month on recycling,
They might
they
want to.
probably come to a meeting pretty quickly. But
3 as well, with the caveat that as a municipality, we're still putting as much pressure on the provincial government as we can.
Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Obviously, like the first time that they changed this program on us, they were supposed to be revenue neutral for our township, and it is not anywhere close, and now they're changing it again to make it even worse. I think that's where our time and efforts need to kind of go back to is the province.
So, Dan,
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Option 3 is,
so if we go with this, then we're not interfering with the residential
right.
recyclables.
Right.
And this one, okay.
What are your thoughts, your worship?
I think that we don't have a choice other than option 3, but I just don't like to say it's option 3 and that's it.
Right.
I'd like to say it's option 3, but council and the staff will work with the businesses to see if there's a better way of working it.
Just on that note, for I know the cost analysis we have for the bin rental and stuff, just to clear the air on that, that's for a 40-yard bin, what we currently have at the landfill. So
Oh.
there's a lot of options.
There's 6-yard bins, there's
for- yeah,
8-yard
there's
bins, there's
totes,
12-yard
there's-
bins.
Yeah.
So there are cheaper options, and GFL and these other companies that pick up they're the most expensive. I mean, you can get the local people to do it cheaper,
There's the guy right in Montville.
but he's got to find a place to put the recycling.
So then,
It's not coming to the landfill, that's the difference.
then if one business is going to hold it and the other business are going to maybe share that bin, there's not going to be any objection from the staff for that? Well, you got
Well,
a
it
bin
wouldn't
and
be
you're
on- it wouldn't be
bringing
at the
garbage
landfill
to
site.
somebody
Not on our
else's
property.
house?
It wouldn't be at the landfill site, we couldn't have the bin on our property, it would have to be on the business's property, right? So say 2 businesses get together and wanna have a bin, they need to determine whose property they want to put that bin on. It wouldn't be stored at the landfill.
They could store it at the landfill? No.
No.
But that's okay. They, like, if it's at, I don't know, we use the Quickway and, the LCBO. If they decide that they're gonna share a bin, it might be at the LCBO property that Quickway would also have access to, and then they would share the cost, right? But, I mean, who knows, that's gonna be up to individual businesses that,
But the businesses can hold their own bins?
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you want?
I know that,
oh, so
municipalities have already sent out, their, motions, but I think we should do a motion as well to the province to ask them to at least cover the cost. They're not even covering the cost. It's now costing us more. And I think it should be strongly worded to say something like, whereas the producer responsibility program was supposed to save municipalities, millions of dollars, because that's what the province has said, that, we urge the province to at least cover our actual costs. They're not doing that.
Like, they're not even covering the cost of the person at recycling.
That's what I'm saying.
know,
That's the actual
And
cost.
here's the other thing is you've heard it on the radios lately, that they're gonna be accepting more different
yes,
kinds of
yes.
recycling. So those numbers are gonna go
Yes.
through the roof again.
Yes.
Especially if
yes.
it's styrofoam.
So I think we need a strongly worded and that we send it to everyone. Is that okay?
You'd like to do a letter that this
Or a
is,
motion, that we pass, tonight, and then we send it out to.
we're gonna pass it tonight. Why don't we
Oh,
actually take
well,
a
we
moment to
can,
write it and
that would
pass
be
it?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. why
I
don't we
would
do that?
rather take a little bit more time to write it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
Let's get
I've
it
been
right.
thinking
and
about
then,
it,
you
yeah.
mean we're going to accept option 3?
Option 3.
And then we're going to do a motion to send out a letter to the other municipalities to
Yeah.
go after the province with me,
Yeah.
with us.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
I'm good with that.
It's gonna be signed by Mayor Paquette. They'll pay attention.
Yes.
Okay, could we have a mover and a seconder?
Not it.
Chicken.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that the report from the Public Works Manager regarding ICI recycling be received, and further that council selects option number 3 for industrial, commercial, and institutional recycling to proceed with the amendment of the circular materials agreement.
Sorry, just a question. If we all vote for it unanimously, is it noted as unanimous, or do you need a recorded vote to see that?
You need a recorded vote.
I'd ask for a recorded vote, please.
Okay, Counselor Clark,
Yes.
Counselor Corbett,
Yes.
Counselor Featherstone,
Yes.
Counselor McInnes,
Yes.
Mayor Paquette.
Yes,
Can I be reluctantly yes?
Yeah.
Or under protest?
Yeah.
Yes, but under protest.
Reluctantly, yes.
Andre only hears yes. So I'm gonna go in front of that.
Resolution is carried.
carried, yeah. Okay, next we go adoption of the committee minutes for planning advisory, December 2nd. We need a mover and a seconder. You skipped the planning here in my motions, no?
There is no recommendations from planning.
Okay, so we don't need that. And then we need the corporate services, right? Mover
Yes.
and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor McInnes. Whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommended to Council to accept the draft procurement bylaw, be it hereby resolved that Council approves the recommendation.
Carried. Oh, all in favor? Trying to hurry there. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have corporate services,
Another motion.
another motion. Okay, that one, We need a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Featherstone. Whereas the Corporate Services Committee recommended to council to accept the draft delegation bylaw, be it hereby resolved that council approves the recommendation.
A mover and a seconder.
No, we
All
moved.
in
It's an all in
favor.
favor.
You moved it?
Yeah.
Okay,
All in
the
favor.
all in favor.
okay.
All in favor? Yeah, you're at the all in favor part.
Well, I want to discuss this.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of this. From January the 1st, that's the wind down of us. And I don't like to give, and I'm not saying persons, I'm saying positions. That's what we're talking about, the delegation of powers, right? I don't like it to be one person for one position. In that document that was given to us, I would like to see in there the person that you would delegate these powers to with an alternate specific individual. Because I feel that we shouldn't be relying on one person for one position. You should be able to have someone to take the place of that person if they're not here. We already ran into that problem, and I don't mean this to offend anybody, but when the night of the emergency, I had my key people I couldn't reach. And that's not putting the key people in any position, because nobody knows when there's going to be an emergency. But I didn't have an option of finding an alternate because that wasn't there for me. So I am not in favor. It's, I guess in order to say that, I would have to call for a recorded vote, and I will do that on this for this option. We have to realize the bylaws and the things that we are passing, and whether it be remuneration or whatever, we have to realize that our term is winding down, and we have to be careful of things that we put in place that the new council has to live with for the next 4 years. So I'm asking, having said that, and I am not picking out any person, I'm only saying this for the purpose of the position. So I'm asking for a recorded vote.
Can I just, before we vote, can I?
Sure.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear on what you're asking. So you're looking for a delegate plus a backup to that delegate is what you're,
Well, yes.
okay.
But, so I have a question then. So if the public works manager was not available, why was the next call to the foreman?
Why?
That would be the delegate.
Well, exactly. But that
So you
should
just want it
be,
documented.
and that should be set out. That
Yeah,
should be,
I'm just-
no one should be gone for a week or two with no one in our municipality to back that position up. Someone has to be there.
Well,
That's that's only my
no, I
position.
know it's a valid, but I would think, like I said,
What happens when you leave your position?
my foreman is.
And he's trained for your position, and he's able to make that decision.
Sure.
And in saying this, I'm only saying what I think,
It's
and that's
valid.
not to offend
no.
anybody.
I think it's valid. What I did notice, as I was doing some homework to figure out what other municipalities are doing, I think we borrowed some language. I actually went to your delegation bylaw at the Township of Nipissing, and it's identical. So the process behind the scenes is to know that yes, council has delegated the responsibility to the CAO for something, and then there is a procedural backup to say if Nikki's gone, then Andre is gonna, the deputy will, sorry, not Andre, the deputy will take over, or the foreman would step up. So that is,
It's inherent.
it's inherent, like, so, yeah, I'm not sure that that needs to be
In the
in the
bylaw.
bylaw. That is actually just the working
Procedural.
practice of, and then it should be, it's a communication thing that Nikki would then communicate out, I'm going on holidays in my absence, please contact
Deputy clerk.
Deputy clerk, or, yeah, and Alex would do the same thing in my absence, please, or Sean, the chief, would say, please contact my deputy chief, right? So that's how,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is why all these positions have a foreman, a deputy.
right. So, yeah,
It's a valid
this is,
point.
yeah, it's a very valid point, and I totally get where you're going, and I think you're right. I'm not sure that it needs to be spelled out in this document. What I've seen in other municipalities is not like that. They take this, and then we have a backup plan, procedurally, administratively, behind the scenes as to how everything gets backed
Yeah,
up. So,
but that's exactly the way it is now. Procedurally, this is the way it
Yeah.
goes. I look for my two key people, that I followed the procedures, but we didn't have anything in place
yeah,
that says you can't reach your key people, you should be there to find two other people. I waited out in the parking lot and some firefighters came in and wondered, what's this old lady doing out here hanging around in the parking lot? They didn't have a clue who I was. That's serious.
it's always the firefighters to the rescue, though, eh? Yeah.
They came along with me to come in. They said, can we help you do something? I said, well, I'm waiting here for somebody, but I'm serious about it. I would like us all to talk about it more.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to defer it, not to pass it right now. And I don't like, that's being transparent to the public. We're discussing what we think about it. And I would like to ask to have it deferred.
Sure. And I'm fine. I don't think there's anything big rush on this. If we would want to defer this so that simultaneously to getting this, we also get a backup plan, like just the word is escaping me, but basically just the document that says, the backup to the chief is the deputy chief, the backup to that in absence of the chief, you contact.
It's an appendix to this.
It's an aside to this. It's not even really part of this, but if it makes everybody feel better that we're passing this at the same time as seeing that documented process,
Yeah,
then
and it just
then great.
makes the person, the designated person, not feel, well, I can't make this decision because
No,
Alex is not there. My supervisor is not there.
Yeah.
So,
but-
I would like a plan of doing this and discuss it. Don't do it in a big hurry. We have time to talk about it. We still have 9 months after this. So I would like us to talk about it.
Lucky us, yeah.
If I made a number, so in the delegation bylaw, there's only a few delegation things that are just one person. Most have two, or it says department heads. A few of them do have just the public works manager. He can temporarily close a highway. So yes, I can put public works manager or designate, because the foreman acting as the manager at the time can close a road in an emergency if the manager's not there. So we can just add as or designate, and then we can just put a little asterisk saying the designate to the public works manager is the
Is the
foreman, or at times it's going to be the CAO.
Yeah.
Because there's times where there's decisions that are made that the foreman can't make those decisions. Like if it's about, like there's this major emergency and they need $50,000, they can't go and do that on their own.
No.
They have to come and speak to the
But
CAO.
he could come to council, or he or she could come to say, hey, Mayor, call a meeting because this is very important. We have to make decisions.
Yeah.
But he has to feel that he has the right to be there.
Yeah.
And
Most of the
that's my
delegated-
concern. And like in there, I see you can't delegate mayor's powers to the deputy mayor because the statutes say the mayor's powers are in the municipal act.
Mhm.
And you will see, and I believe it is in the RSOs 2001, you cannot delegate the mayor's powers to the deputy mayor because it's already set out.
Isn't that the point of the deputy mayor?
In the municipal, yeah, there are
Yeah.
certain parts that you can and can't. The mayor's absolutely right. It's spelled out in the municipal act.
And there is a section in here that says other duties that you cannot
Yeah,
designate.
it's,
that you
I'm
can't.
not
Yeah.
But most
picky.
of this
I'm
is-
just saying,
Yeah.
okay? And like I said, I don't want to pick on people. I'm talking about the positions and down the road. Every decision we make now affects the next council for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So I ask respectfully if council will defer this for a bit.
Yeah, I'm fine. I like Nikki's idea or designate, like if you actually put or designate, and then an appendix to it or a sister document to this is what is that backup plan for the municipality, right? So it's probably a one pager. It's not a super complicated document.
Well, there's only so many positions.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
reality is, we have,
Like,
you know,
yeah,
5 people.
There's a public
not-
works manager
Yeah,
and foreman is the delegate.
yeah.
Right. No,
And
absolutely. But
Nikki-
Yeah.
I think listen, for the sake of it's not a rush tonight, if we went through that document and you put or designate, and then that sister document just
For each,
spells it out.
for each department head.
Yeah, then I think, is that helpful? Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think to talk about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we rely on one person and nobody can come forward because I don't have authority to do
Yeah.
that, then that puts council in a position as well. You know, people might get sick, people
it doesn't
might
sound
go
like
on
a-
holidays.
Doesn't sound like a huge amount of work, so it could probably come back for hopefully next council meeting.
Sorry, just on that note, so I think we need to put, if this is like what we're going through, right? There just needs to be a contacts list updated, I think, because I'm not sure if you have the foreman's cell phone number, right?
Oh, that's fair.
It's in the
Right.
emergency
No.
plan.
Well, no, I haven't got the emergency plan that he's updated it and he's put more information there. And that too in itself was pretty outdated with a lot of the contact people in there, and Alan agreed. He said he'd
That was
would
one of our
have to
takeaways.
bring that all
had
up to
be-
date as well. And that's not being critical. This is just being sure that the people are protected and the staff is protected, and so are we.
No, I'm just saying an updated contact list. would
Yeah,
probably
great
help
idea.
in-
Sure, because
Yeah.
when you couldn't get a hold of Alex, just for example, like, yeah, the foreman's name and number should have been right there. The next
I
one.
should have had that number.
It
yeah,
should have been right under Alex's number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And that works great in an emergency. This delegation bylaw is more about the day-to-day stuff, like who signs a grant application, who's closing a road, who's gonna call out the fire emergency. These are the day-to-day things, not
Emergency.
emergency things that this bylaw actually pertains to.
Mhm.
So there's going to be times where, you know, like, this is more, if I'm not here, Andre, our deputy, sorry, will absolutely take over any of the roles
Yeah.
that are immediate, right? And then she can do them, but most of this stuff is stuff that can wait until the manager's here in order to do
Yeah.
it. These aren't the emergency issues that are in here. Yeah, it's not, it's not like this, the council will call our designate and say, hey, I need this. This isn't what this bylaw does. This bylaw is about those day-to-day things. So if we get a freedom of information request, then it's delegated to the CAO or to the clerk, and then the clerk can go out and process that document. It's got a 30-day window. If the clerk isn't here, then the deputy clerk can do it. And that's just that, as we said, it's inherent in the roles and the setup in our job descriptions. And that's why we have coverage and cross-training for all of the staff. So I just want to make sure if we put the designate, or are we looking for something else?
So I guess I would think, what you're asking for is like, that would be under more Alan stuff, like under the emergency management, updated contact list.
Well, any day could be an emergency you drive quite a distance every day to work, you know? I don't want to say this, but what if you had an accident? Things happen, and I want to see something in place that somebody knows. The CAO isn't here. It's my job to take over everything that has to happen today.
Yeah.
And I feel when you're doing a delegation of powers, that's what it's called. When you're doing a delegation of powers, it should be set out specifically in that document. Because then you don't go any other way because it's all set out there for you. That's my position and that's what I think about it. And everybody has the option to say what they think.
Absolutely. I'm also comforted knowing, like, if you read the preamble, delegation provisions, council delegates the powers and duties and restrictions thereto. But 2.2 is notwithstanding the foregoing, council retains the authority to make or reconsider at any time and without notice revoke or delegated power that have been delegated pursuant to this bylaw. So council retains the authority on this. Like, it's not, while we're delegating some of the day-to-day work, it doesn't replace us altogether. Like,
No, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
I just feel better about it,
Yeah.
and I would like to look at it better. I'd like to discuss it better, because it came to us kind of quickly, and we've had a lot here to discuss, especially tonight. And again, I asked for a recorded vote, or we could ask to defer it. My preference would be to defer it. Can we?
Could I just clarify a question? Would it be proper to carry this motion, but then when we get to the bylaw to defer it? Because the bylaw will come up later, right?
Or you can defer this motion that they're not accepting the corporate service recommendation. It will get deferred back to corporate services for another discussion.
That's a good idea.
That would give us more time to discuss
And
it,
then
right?
the bylaw doesn't even come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That bylaw motion doesn't even come up.
So when we come by the bylaw, we don't do anything.
Right.
You even saved us time at the end of the meeting.
Okay. Okay,
Okay, so I
so
will
we're
ask,
deferring it to, do we need the motion to defer it?
The motion that's there, you'll just push deferred.
Okay,
When you vote, yeah, it's just deferred.
So are we saying we pass it or defer it?
You're deferring it, yeah.
Yeah, but when we ask for the vote, are you saying defer?
Oh,
or-
defer?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think I call for the vote before we do defer. Right?
We all have to.
Well,
How about
you have
all,
to-
in-
you have
just call all in
to
favor
read
of
the
defer, we'll throw our
motion to
hands up and
discuss
then
it.
we'll cover it all the way around.
Have
Just
to
in
read the
case.
motion to discuss it, and then they would amend it
I
to
don't think
defer.
you can defer it
And
after
it
you
can be
do a
deferred to corporate
recorded
service.
vote.
okay, now just
We didn't
defer.
Because if
record a
we
vote.
turn it
We didn't
down-
Yeah,
record
not
a
a
vote,
recorded
though.
vote. I
It's
think
not,
it's,
we're at the point where we're
You
voting,
can
so
just
we
do-
can just defer now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay, so
Let's
just defer?
Yeah,
Because I've already read the motion.
correct.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
So-
defer it. Okay,
Okay, I've marked it as deferred.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, my goodness, here we come into the OPP, 2026. A lot of information there. Will we have the new budget too? Any questions? I'd be able to answer.
I only have one question. So it kind of goes back, they use the number 1198 as households. ICI, so 1159 even, and then 39, which is commercial and industrial. And then the ICI uses 1145 for household. Like, where are we getting this household number from?
Where are you?
Yeah.
So
we're on
in the police report, our
talking between
budget
the two
is
different
based
reports.
on households, right? And
Are
so
you on the Nosbonstein one?
yeah, so the
Sorry,
police use the number
Mhm.
You're
1159.
Sorry, Donna, you were referring to the report that came from,
Correct, with your budget.
right from our police services, not the
Yes.
OPP, from our budget, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
there's just two different numbers. That's all I wanted to point out. So the base households is 1159,
Where's her?
and they say CI is 39, and that makes up 1198, and that's what the budget is based on for Bondfield.
So it just depends which agency they get it from.
I know, and so, but in circular
Material, it's
materials,
1145.
they use 1145, which I prefer because it's a lower number for when they're calculating.
Yeah.
But I mean, we need to
I
be,
can look in to see which one that, it depends, because MPAC will have something different, and
I
then
know.
DSAB and OPP,
But-
and there's no one source.
But
they get to
MPAC
pick the
should be
source,
the source.
But it's not the source for everybody. I'd have to go back to look to see.
I
on
know,
what they
I just,
all are.
it was just an observation, so it was just an observation. Also, you didn't spend any money on advertising in 2025.
No, it's because we spent a lot of time getting it organized.
Oh, okay.
So then we decided that we would come to the trade show here in April.
Yeah.
And then we are going to try and put more information out. The concern was when we went to the police, conference, all of the people out there seem to have so much knowledge about their police services board and what they were doing and everything. So the people that went to the conferences remarked on the fact that people don't even know who we are. People don't know who's on the police services board
Right.
in the 3 municipalities. And the police services board is there because they are a liaison between our police services, the OPP, and people don't even know who to come to in their municipality. Who represents us on the police services board? Right?
Oh, you didn't actually want that. It's you.
No.
Was that a test? Oh, yeah.
That was a test and
Yeah.
Jason knew it. But no, that was what the concern was. And we didn't, being organized, getting all, everything put together, we didn't have time to go out to the community. And the OPP are of the same thoughts that we should get out more. We should be more out in our municipalities. People should know who we are. They should know who their people are if they don't want to go. Our boards don't have the authority that the city police do, but I believe if there was something addressed to us, we could bring it back to our representative from the OPP and it would be discussed there. So that's why we're going, there will be money spent on advertising out there. And like I said, we're the first ones. Our Nosbonsine Police Services Board is the first group registered with the trade show. Because I contacted Cassandra and she registered us and everybody's quite happy with that. And there is the police report, the OPP police report here for everybody to see the activities and things that happened. It's all there. And we are supposed to share it with our council as well. So we need a motion with this
Yes,
to
please.
accept the budget. I don't think our budget is too high.
No, it's pretty cheap.
We're pretty careful.
Yeah.
We're pretty cautious. So could I please have a motion to speak about or to pass the budget for the Nosbonsine Police Services Board? A mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that council receives the Lake Nosbonsing OPP Board 2026 budget.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, the discussion of the remuneration of council. A mover and seconder to put it on the floor.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that bylaw 2025-48 being a bylaw to establish the remuneration of council be read a third time, passed in open council the 16th day of December 2025, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
Okay, any questions? Any,
So I
Comment.
did some mathing with the numbers that were provided. And I believe originally what we had said was that we were going to take the average for the counselor and then increase that by 15% for the deputy mayor, and then increase by 15% for the mayor.
okay,
And then 3% for the rest of the ensuing years. And so those numbers are actually what's in the proposed at the bottom, which is much less than what we had originally. Actually, on the deputy clerk and I came up with these numbers together. So
so what we would be looking at to bring in would be the bottom
Correct.
figures.
yes,
Mhm.
which is what we discussed. The numbers got a little bit confused. And so when we redid them, the deputy clerk and I, we had, because there was like a 45% difference between the counselor and the mayor. Now there's the 30%, which is what we had discussed at the last meeting. So we just rejigged the numbers, and the new numbers are for year one, the average in the community when you take the poll for council, and I think it's a 7% increase from because we're making 11,400 right now. We would be making 12,198. It's a 7% increase.
We wouldn't be.
The counselors or whoever the
Okay.
counselor would be, yeah. Right. So the next counselor would get a 7% increase, and the deputy mayor would get an 11% increase. And so for the starting rate for a counselor in 2027 would be 12,198.5. For the deputy mayor would be $14,028.28, and for the mayor would be $16,132.52.
So just for perspective, if council goes from $11,400 to $12,198.50, that's $66.54
Yeah.
more per month.
Per month, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Like
So-
that's the difference we're talking.
Yeah,
from now till the end of the next term, you're talking $1,900 for council, $1,929 over about 4 years.
Right.
$3,500 for deputy mayor and 33 for mayor. I mean, it's
Yeah.
$8,700 over 4 years.
Yeah,
Basically.
no, absolutely.
and so then we would rejig the numbers of what it would actually cost in the budget, because then those numbers would change. And would be much lower than what was projected, so.
Okay,
So the first term of council, the first year of council in the next term, council would make $1,119.50 per year. Deputy mayor would make, does it go here? How does your chart work here?
What,
It
the
goes
first
up.
year?
Yeah,
What do you mean?
where's the deputy on here?
Oh, right here, the deputy
Yeah,
mayor's
so
there.
$13,080.88,
Annually, yeah.
and the mayor would make 18,100.
No.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sorry, this was what was
Right,
projected.
so we're going to
This is what it
So
is,
it's
yes.
$12,198.50. Deputy would make $14,028.28, and the mayor would make $16,132.52.
Yes, at 15% increments.
Right.
Yes.
Yep, so that would be year one. After that, it goes up
3%.
3%
Yes,
per year, and then it's just predictable and
yes.
reliable for.
So
Future
3% I don't think is an outrageous number.
Wow, 3% on it, 3% on 100 grand is very
Well,
different than
here,
3% on
You
$12,000,
can see
right? I
what the
mean,
difference is there. You'd go from 12,198 to 12,564.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
couple $100.
$400.
Yeah, it's not a great increase.
which is $33 a year,
Yeah,
or it's $33 a
a
month.
month.
A month,
Yeah.
not a year.
Yeah, a month, yeah.
Okay, so this amount here is what we're starting
one,
out
yeah.
with, right?
Yeah.
Year one.
Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
so having said that, that is the increase for the new council. And again, as I explained to Jules, that we came in with the amount that we're earning now, we're going out with that amount.
Mhm.
There is no increase to this council. There has been no increase to this council during this 4-year term. So just so that everybody out there that's listening, that's the way it is. And this increase is not a huge increase, but it is giving the new council a little bit more money because ours goes back quite a ways, the amount that we're making. I think, and that's not, it's not, I guess it shouldn't even be part of the discussion, but the comments made is, I think, in looking at the initial information that was given to us, we're the second lowest paid council in the area in comparison to the rest of the municipalities. So just to make that clear, and if everybody is good with this figure, it's not a huge increase. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd like to say is we're setting future councils up not for failure, where they have to go a 15% increase to catch up to the rest of the other municipalities. I mean, we're doing it gradual with, climbing gradually, kind of keeping in par with everybody else.
Well, another thing with setting it up this way, and I think it is a good thing, when the new council comes in, they can do whatever they
Right.
think. But at least you're giving them an increase right away that the new council is not coming in and saying, well, holy smokes, this is all we're going to make. This is all our money. That's probably not what they're going to do. But the new council doesn't want to have to come in and give themselves a raise.
Right.
That's not appropriate. So in doing this, I think it's respectful of the next council coming in, and this amount here, I don't think I make 14,000 something. The new mayor coming in will make 16,132. The deputy mayor makes 13,000.
11,800.
Currently makes 13,000.
Yeah.
And $80. It'll
No.
go up to 14.
No.
No,
council makes
you currently make
11,000.
Oh, yeah, I make-
11,800.
Oh, yeah,
He
I
only
make
makes
11,800.
The difference between,
Yeah, I
I'm
got a
not
pay
sure
scale
how
here.
this is done. The difference between councillor and deputy mayor is minuscule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
could we please pass the motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or deal with the motion and mover in a second there?
No, we've already done
Yes.
that.
Call for the vote.
We've already read it.
Yep, you just,
Need to call for the vote.
call for the vote.
Okay, call for the motion.
Nope, all in favor.
Oh, sorry, should read as
As
amended.
amended.
So as we're doing that, it's
got a
$66
mover
more a
and
month
second,
for
yeah.
council, and this it puts you council in the middle of the pack of other councils. We're not even positioning the next council to be on the high end of other surrounding
None of them are
municipalities.
in the high
It's
end.
in the middle of the pack. So
minimum wage anymore.
Okay,
I'll
and
reread the motion because we amended the original
Okay.
bylaw that was provided in the agenda package. So I will reread the motion and then
Okay.
your worship can call for a vote.
so have you amended the bylaw?
Yes,
So, okay.
I had it
then
prepared
can-
in advance.
Yeah, okay,
okay.
okay,
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Featherstone, that bylaw 2025-48 being a bylaw to establish the remuneration of council be read a third time, passed in open council the 16th day of December 2025 as amended, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
All in favor? Carried. Stuff over here.
Sorry, I'm anyway.
Okay,
This is the 15% difference between
so, we have the OPP board, and then next we have,
We're at item 10B.
so are we going to the Gonde subdivision security follow-up, or when are you giving us the
I think
report?
that was under items for discussion. We just skipped it. I can quickly go over it. I given the presentation. You have a copy of it. It's from our engineer. It's a follow-up from the presentation that was given at the last council meeting and the meetings that we've been having with Bryco and the engineer here at the office. So basically, he was asking for his release of some of his security in order to proceed. And so the engineer ran the numbers on what was left to do, what the deficiencies in the road were, what needed to be done. And then those numbers took it off of what the security that we have right now. So there is, there was the option of releasing $5,595.34. And then there was a number of, two. So there's a subdivision agreement that this is all kind of spelled out on. I think that's all that we really need to say, given the new developments today, so we can go back and I can have that discussion.
So at this point, there's work that can be done with staff, the engineer, and Mr. Garnet's engineer at this point.
Well, given the presentation today, I think it's just the municipality has to go back to our legal team to determine what needs to be done. What are our next steps?
Okay. I asked a question today, and I don't know if it's a proper question, but I asked the CAO before. Is a bond, performance bond, would that be something that council could look at as opposed to holding a security? Could you please look into that and come back with the answer?
Yeah.
It's just a question, and it's, where I work is sometimes a bond covers the assets of an estate. And I would just like you to, just so I have the answer, is that an answer or is that something we could look at?
Right.
Okay. Next, we have resolutions to be considered for adoption. Remuneration of council,
We've done that one.
we've done that. Establishing the lame duck period, we have need a mover and a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that bylaw 2025-43 being a bylaw to establishing lame duck period be read a third time, passed in open council the 16th day of December 2025, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have establishing the lame duck period. Mover and a
We
seconder.
just
We
did this
just
one.
did that one.
Yeah, we just did that one. It's the next one.
Hmm?
Yeah, we just did that. The lame duck is what we just passed. So it's to regulate.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, sorry. We already did the remuneration.
Yes.
Okay, to regulate the placement of election signs. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Featherstone, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that bylaw 2025-46, being a bylaw to regulate placement of election signs, be read a third time, passed in open council the 16th day of December 2025, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have a list of the council dates for 2026. And that's just, we need a mover and a seconder.
I'll read the motion first and then speak to an amendment. Sorry. Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that council hereby approves the 2026 council meeting schedule as attached, and that meetings may be canceled and special meetings scheduled when needed as amended. I had to amend the meeting dates. I was made aware that on our dates here, November 15th was actually a Sunday. So that's been changed to November 16th, which is the Monday, and that will be the inauguration of council.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have the procurement bylaw. A mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-50, being a bylaw to adopt procurement policy and procedures as presented, and is hereby considered read 3 times and passed the 16th day of December 2025.
Any questions? I have a question. With the procurement bylaw where you have a list of people that you can contact, and you contact for quotes or
Vendors list.
contact for tenders or whatever. And when you have that list, is that list, they call for, like, we're always looking for transparency. Does council know the list of the people that you called? And so do you always call the same 3, or do you rotate it? How do you approach the people that you want to make a request for, whether it's to buy what, I don't know,
Sand or
the
salt.
service,
Yeah.
or how do you
So-
do that?
If there's a list of vendors, we would do a quotation sheet. So much like we did with the Trunk Road Bridge, we sent out, there was a quote for all the equipment. Let's say, pick on that one. We did the request for quotes. Anybody could submit it, and then that's how but it was a request for quote. There's other things where, if we're calling, like the embroidery for the branding of the sheet, the clothing allowance. It's just, I just called 3 people who came up on the search, right? And that are in the phone. So, because it's under the threshold, that wouldn't come to council. So not always, but there's documentation. If anybody ever wants to see it, there would be documentation on who we've called, what that looks like. But it wouldn't always come to council, but typically it's all done in writing, or notes, and there's a request for quote, or sometimes there's not 3 people on a list. Like there might not be anyone on a list for a project that we need. So we don't have a strict list of vendors that we would call.
So do you, when there's a lot of things that go on the municipal page, is that something that goes on our municipal page as well? that you're looking for tenders or that you're looking for quotes, or does that go on our municipal page as well?
Tenders and requests for proposals,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
Not,
Not
and,
the smaller amounts, no,
no, and where are the tenders open? Public Works or here?
here.
Here, okay,
so like for like our, say, winter sand at the public workshop, like you'll see on like all the reports that we go over, the vendors that submitted a quote are the ones on the list. So if we reach out to a vendor and they don't reply, their quote essentially isn't put on the list, right?
But a
So-
no quote is a quote, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's still an email or some documentation
Exactly,
to
that
say
you
that
sent
we'll
it out.
Yeah,
try.
there's
Yeah,
an
and
email
so
we
that
sent
no
it, but I
quote
mean,
is-
like, when you guys get the report from myself,
Yeah.
right, that states that there's been 3 bids on winter sand. I only show those 3 bids. I don't make a list of the 6 other businesses I've reached out to.
Right, but if you sent the quote out to 5 businesses and only 1 came back, you would say, I sent that to 5
Correct,
and 1
yes,
came back,
yeah.
right? So that's what I mean, so that you didn't single this one out.
No,
You
no.
asked 5 people, only one company came back, that's what I mean.
Correct, yeah.
so,
We like as many quotes as we can
Sure.
get because that keeps it competitive.
so when you open the tenders, they're date signed and time,
Yes.
and there's 2 people that say that, yes, they're appropriate, they come in the right time, they have their deposit, and there's yourself and the head of the department that's looking for the tender.
Yes. So it might be myself and Alex. It might be myself and, Public Works Manager. It might be myself and the Deputy Treasurer. It could be myself and the Fire Chief, but there's always 2 people.
When on opening, and you
and
do
again-
it Zoom, don't you?
We don't Zoom it. We'll just sit here
But you-
and then we open it and there's a tender sheet that we fill out
Right.
to say who was present, because sometimes we have bidders who are here. So then we have them sign the bid form as well, and they're all here. It's very transparent.
And when the bid comes in to the front office, I'm sure it's stamped,
Yes.
date,
And initials.
time, and initials.
And put in the safe.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Or
yeah.
it's in a lot, yes.
Okay. All in favor? Carrie? So the next one then was a delegation of council power and duty.
We're
I'd
no-
skip that,
Yeah.
right?
Look at us, whizzing right on through the meeting.
Hmm?
We're going right on through the meeting. Look at us go.
Okay. So. A mover and seconder. A bylaw to amend the agreement of circular materials, is that correct? Yep. Mover and a seconder.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-53, being a bylaw to amend the agreement with circular materials as presented and is hereby considered read 3 times and passed the 16th day of December 2025.
All in favor? Carried. Oh, here's another one. To authorize the loan for the Trunk Road Bridge replacement. A mover and a seconder. Any comments? Any questions?
Well, I think you need our opinions on. We're gonna authorize the loan, but is over the amortization period, right? Like you're looking for feedback on that?
And then we can talk.
Sure, sorry.
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-52, being a bylaw to borrow for Trunk Road Bridge as presented and is hereby considered read 3 times and passed the 16th day of December 2025.
Any questions? What are we going with? Then I can't find it in here. I know what I think, but I have to ask the
Yeah.
question. With respect to the interest rate and the interest paid, it's really high when you carry it more than the,
Mhm.
right? The first offer that you've given to us. It's,
Yeah.
and yet would, in order to pay out that loan, would it put, a lot on the municipality to pay those payments?
I can't find the paper that I had the sheet.
I'm trying to find it as well.
We can-
I can't find it.
So
I think.
5-year term amortized over 5 years.
2,000-ish.
Yeah, it is interest, aka cost of borrowing is $17,609 over the term. The annual payment is $35,087. If you were to extend the amortization to 10 years, the payment of just the cost of borrowing goes up by $20,000. So it's $37,831 to borrow the money for that. But the payment, annual payment would be $19,566. If you do a 10-year term and a 10-year amortization, the cost of borrowing, so just the interest would be $40,761. The annual payment would be $16,549. So to borrow over 5 years, it would cost $35,000 a year, but we would be saving in the end a minimum of $20,000 in interest costs. So comparatively to the 10-year.
What do you think?
Thank you for asking. I think I would like to actually make it paid faster over time. Find the $35,000 but ultimately save the taxpayer, like annually, but ultimately save the taxpayers $20,000 of additional borrowing costs. That's what
And I
makes sense to
think
me.
we were prepared to do a $250,000 loan, so, I mean, we kind of accounted for this money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think 5 years, knock it down and,
I agree.
save the interest.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I think that exactly the same, but again, the responsibility of payment in order to save the interest doesn't put a lot on the
But
the
if
township.
we would have went, it was done $100 and some thousand under
Less,
budget.
yeah.
So we were prepared to take a $250,000 loan, so we would have been making that payment regardless. So if we just put that towards a 5-year term and we get it paid off, I think.
Okay,
Makes a ton of sense.
so we're all in favor of the higher payment with less interest, okay?
Yeah.
I guess we need a mover and a seconder for this?
Nope, just
Call
need
for the
Call the
to,
vote.
All of them, yeah.
just
Oh,
call the
yeah,
vote.
carried.
No,
Nope.
Gotta call it.
You got
We get so far away from moving it
I
to
guess
get
we
back
carried
to it.
it.
All right,
You needed a call?
You needed a vote?
Saw everybody raise their
Yeah.
hand except for Steve.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Steve is right.
okay, now we're at, we've covered all of the resolutions. Now we're at the correspondence. And we can accept this in one,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
a mover and a seconder.
She got it, sorry.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, that council receives the correspondence circulated with the agenda of December 16th, 2025.
All in favor? Carried. I see in that correspondence, and this is something we can deal with the next council, there is a Phenom conference, right?
And AMO,
And Amo,
and AMO.
yes.
Okay. So next we have confirmatory bylaw.
We have a concern?
After this.
We have, oh.
Mover and a seconder.
Too late.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that the council for the Township of Bonnfield hereby adopts bylaw 2025-42 to confirm the proceedings of council from November 25th, 2025 to December 16th, 2025, as presented, and is considered read 3 times and passed the 16th day of December 2025.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, next, we're moving to a closed session.
Yes, so I will stop the recording.
Okay,
Do I do a motion to go in? Okay.